What is up, guys? It's your boy, Cackle-Lantern, and today, with the introduction of the Festival of the Lost 2023 Halloween event for Destiny 2, we were introduced to Hocus Focusing, where you can now go out and earn Eerie Engrams and focus these Eerie Engrams into exotics. This is a fantastic way to potentially farm some incredible high stat exotics. However, I think people are going about this the wrong way and wasting resources by trying to focus one or two particular exotics rather than looking at this as, frankly, a mathematical formula. We can actually calculate the probability of getting a good exotic based on the different categories that you can actually focus. And that's exactly what we're going to do within this video. So I did a video yesterday for the Titan exotics. Now it's time for the Warlock. What is the best category you should spend your Eerie Engrams on to get the best bang for your buck? Well, let's get started here with the legs. So, we have the LUNAFACTION boots. These are actually fantastic. Every time you do a raid, someone is going to be using the LUNAFACTIONs to speed up the reload and just increase your team's overall DPS, so definitely want a good pair of these. Transversive steps are still used quite a bit for PvP especially, but PvE, some people still swear by them as well. Anything that improves your mobility is something you probably want to have. Now, the Geomegs were cracked out of their mind. They were nerfed. Didn't really see play. They actually got a semi-recent buff, but still not seeing a ton of play right now. Prometheum Spurs, no one really uses these. Sorry if you do, but just stating the facts here. Now, Boots of the Assembler, I actually really like these. If you read this, you're going to be like, this is insane. They aren't incredibly meta, but I, again, really like them. There's no reason you can't put them on and have a very, very good build out of them. So, at the end of the day, like I said in the previous video, you're watching me, so I'm going to give you my opinion. I really like the Boots of the Assembler, and I wouldn't mind getting a good pair myself. Now, Secant Filaments is an interesting one. They can be part of some powerful strategies, but just haven't really broken into the meta yet, aside from some crazy kind of glitch type stuff. So really not too high on these right now. Rain of Fire definitely has potential to be very good. Certainly when they kind of just came out, when those weapon types of fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles were featured, they were cracked, but right now not too amazing. And so overall, what does this actually give us? Well, it gives us 3 out of these 7 I would want to go for, and that's a 43% hit rate. And guys, that's a big deal. That's already actually higher than the best hit rate for the Titans, which again was legs with 3 out of 8. So there's one less leg in this loot pool for the Warlocks, and that means with 3 good options, in my opinion, you actually have a fairly good chance to get something good. But let's move on from there to the chests. Now for these, we have the Sanguine Alchemy here. Really haven't seen too much play. I think they got a bit of a buff, but it just hasn't been anything significant. Starfire Protocol, how our gods have fallen. This was absolutely like the best exotic in the game. Now it's been nerfed to absolute crap. No one uses this anymore. Vesper of Radius has had some really niche Grandmaster stuff going on. I think because of a glitch that's since been nerfed. Doesn't really see much play. Wings of Sacred Dawn are used a ton by that one guy trying to get a clip by hovering 300, meters in the air. Other than that one guy, no one's using these, so not really seeing a ton of play. Chromatic Fire definitely has some interesting potential. I think it was actually buffed a little bit, but unfortunately just doesn't see a ton of play. Phoenix Protocol is S tier in my opinion. Being able to get your well back much, much faster is so incredible in everything from Grandmasters, raids, day 1 raids. We were using this a lot. It is just a very, very good exotic. So this is fantastic. Storm Dancer's Brace doesn't really see a ton of play because Storm Trance doesn't really see a ton of play outside of PvP, and then even then slightly. Mantle of Battle Harmony, on the surface, like, it definitely has some potential, but it just really has never been a part of any, popular metas or really been involved in any incredible builds. Like, you can definitely use this. It's all right. So, Overall, guys, what does that look like? Unfortunately, it's a 1 out of 8. Really, it's just the Phoenix Protocol that I personally am going for. Like, I wouldn't be furious about a Mantle of Battle Harmony and maybe a couple of others, but I think we're splitting hairs here, especially when you compare them to the legs, where you had significantly more, like, really good options available. So I would recommend not focusing the chests here. Now, moving on from there, let's go into the arms. As you can see here, we actually have a lot more arms. 11 arms in total. So is this a diluted loot pool? Well, looking at the arms, you have the Aeon Soul. Now, it's of my personal opinion that absolutely every single class should get their version of an Aeon, because spawning heavy ammo is just so incredibly powerful. Usually you have an invisible hunter do it, but you don't always have that available, so you want the ability to use an Aeon Soul on Warlocks and Titans. But moving on from there, Claws of Ahamkara, additional melee, pretty niche, doesn't see a ton of play. KARNSTEIN armlets, I think, are getting a little bit of a buff. And it was one of the leaked buffs where this isn't in the game right now, but it says finisher final blows will give you cure and restoration. That's coming up in season 23. Still not that incredible. SUNBRACERS, fantastic. A lot of people swear by these. Get a melee kill and throw like 45 solar grenades. It is pretty wild for PvE. Now, Ophidian Aspects, one of the best exotics in the entire game for PvP, did get a nerf that removed the melee lunge range. However, readying your weapons faster and improving your reload speed overall is still probably pretty good. Like, I still see a lot of people using these in PvP. Now, is that copium because they don't want to take it off? I don't know, but hey, it does see still a decent amount of play. Now, the Winter's Guile improved melee damage. It's one of those funny things where not a lot of play, like really you don't see a lot of people using this, but then Bungie disables it every once in a while because it's up to no good doing crazy melee stuff. So it's really hard to judge. Overall, again, doesn't see a lot of play unless it's incredibly broken, and then it gets disabled in 2 days anyways. Controverse hold, in my opinion, S tier. Fantastic exotics. You can really make a unbelievably powerful void grenade build around these. Like, they're still cracked out of their mind, especially for PvE. Very, very good when it comes to ad clearing. Gateway Artist, you'll come across someone with these in PvP every once in a while and get shredded by their Arc Soul, but they still don't see a ton of play. Necrotic Grips, man, if you have the Osteo Striga exotic SMG, or heck, even the Thorn, I think you could get away with. The combination of using those type of weapons that spread a poison with the Necrotic Grips that will make enemies you kill, even with those weapons, spread that poison even more. Some of the best ad clearing capabilities in the entire game. Very, very good exotic right here. Nothing Manacles, another scatter grenade, better than you think, but has not seen any sort of substantial play. And then we have the Osmiomancy gloves. Guys, there was a point where these were like arguably the best exotic in the game. Like, 2 cold snap grenades actually also means 2 of these stasis turrets, right? Because if you switch to turret, it just uses your grenade. Now, stasis isn't doing super well in the meta right now, but even still, you see the Osmiomancy gloves fairly regularly in PvP just for using normal cold snaps, and if stasis ever gets even a tiny buff, these are going to be absolutely cracked because of those double stasis turrets. Like, just so powerful. So I'd be going for these as well. And so overall, guys, even though we have a ton of exotics available in this engram, it's actually giving 6 out of 11, which is a 54.5% chance to get something good. You are more than half in terms of your likelihood to actually get something good for focusing Warlock arms. That is pretty nuts. But then after that, we have helmets. And interestingly, like, Titan had 8 helmets, Warlock has, again, 11 helmets on offer, which is pretty insane. So, are they actually any good? Well, first of all, we have the Apotheosis Veil, doesn't see really any play. Then we have the Crown of Tempest, was really popular and is still pretty darn popular with arc builds. Like, arc abilities or jolts increase the recharge rate of your arc abilities. So it's just so easy. You put this on, you get more arc abilities. It's just such a free exotic to put on and improve your build. Same thing, honestly, with the Eye of Another World. It's just going to improve your ability. So you can put this on really any build. If you don't really know what to build, you throw in the Eye of Another World, and it's going to improve whatever subclass you're on. Then we have the NEZAREC'S Sin. This is another one. Void damage kills. So it can be kills with void weapons, increase ability recharge rate. You throw this on a void build, and you're going to get your abilities back so much more. Again, such a great neutral game exotic. Warlock has a ton of these exotics that improve ability regen, and they're all, frankly, pretty good. Skull of Dire Ahamkara. You're not playing Reckoning anymore with Season of the Drifter. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but not very good right now. The Stag was very good in PvP, but now, honestly, I really don't see it anymore. I think it's been replaced with kind of other stuff. Maybe your experience is different than mine, but, like, I don't think it's super meta right now. VERITY'S Brow, this thing is actually pretty nuts, massively improving your grenade regen, and including your teammates as well, which is obviously extremely powerful. I think it's a very, very good exotic. Then we have the Astrocyte Verse, and going to improve your blink. Yes, someone will absolutely spank you with this, but it's still not super meta. Then we have the Fellwinter's Helm, really not too meta, really doesn't see a ton of play. Dawn Chorus is a very cool one, improving Scorch. The potential's there. I have a Dawn Chorus build, but if I'm being real, like, you're not really going to be using this over well in anything legit in terms of content, so I'm going to say no for that one. Fallen Sunstar is a pretty new one and a pretty cool one. Ionic Traces are actually improved with this, and so that means if you're making Ionic Traces with weapons, and there's certain exotics that are really good at that, like the Delicate Tomb, you're getting so many of your arc abilities. Like, this can absolutely make some pretty cracked builds. It was kind of between the Fallen Sunstar and a kind of Tempest for, like, the best Warlock arc build, so definitely some potential there. And so what does that actually give us at the end of the day? Well, it actually gives us another 6 out of 11, a 54.5% hit rate. And so overall, if you're on the Warlock, it's actually going to be helmets as well as arms that are going to give the best opportunity to get something good with, again, insane hit rates. If you have multiple characters, like if you have a Titan and a Warlock, in my opinion, don't even bother focusing for the Titan. Like, the rates of good Titan exotics are so much worse than Warlock exotics. You might as well come out of this event with cracked Warlock exotics rather than, you know, risking it for that small chance to get some good Titan exotics, in my opinion. So definitely Warlock's got a lot of good exotics here, in my opinion. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.